Welcome to We the People, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the within community, culture, and politics. I'm your host, Fallon McClure, aka the Policy Princess, giving you all the details on all the latest topics. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you want me to discuss. You can also catch me every other Thursday on mixx106radio.com.
What's the office? What's the office of the Inspector General? Tell us what that is.
The office of the Inspector General came about in 2020, 2021. It was in response to a lot of the, indictments that had happened under the previous administration.
Right. So that was the one thing that he should put in place before she left out of there.
Right. And so there were, I believe former Council President Moore was like the author of the legislation. And for folks that don't remember, there were about over 9 indictments of high-level people in
under the
Reid administration.
Yeah, the Reid.
Right. And so this
one of the most corrupt it was one of the most corrupt administrations in Georgia at the time.
And so
we had never seen that many people.
Right. And we're not talking just, I helped a family member out or something. We're talking buying machine guns with city property. We're talking, not city property, city funds. We're talking taking vacations with city funds. We're talking about...
We're talking about Atlanta or South Fulton?
We're talking about the city of Atlanta. We're talking about taking bribes to move permits through.
Right.
We're talking about then when some of the contractors that paid the bribes started working with the FBI to, and admitting their wrongdoing.
Right,
city employees going and throwing bricks through their window talking about they a rat. So this isn't like, it sounds like a Tyler Perry plot. Like, this should be on one of them shows.
It was really one of them shows.
It's really one of them shows. And so like, it's funny, but it's not funny. Like, this was real life happening stuff where the decision was made to put in an Office of Inspector General. And I think what is very important to talk about this is, by very nature, offices of Inspector General are supposed to be independent watchdog. Like, they are independent, right? So they could have just been like, oh, we just want an ethics something or whatever. Like, it was very intentional to choose this particular office. And even our current mayor was on council when this, when all of this transpired, right? And so it was a very deliberate decision, not just to be like, okay, we want to root out corruption, fraud, abuse, and we are making this independent office to do so, right?
Okay, so here's my mind. Can we just put on our scuba suit?
Yeah.
Can we do this? Because when we do this and people watch this later, I'm going to get a lot of calls.
Understood.
Okay? All right.
Understood.
So I'm going to turn the music off so people can hear us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Felicia Moore is a friend of mine.
Okay.
And when she came up with this legislation, I think it was a home run legislation to open this office of the Inspector General. I think that it needs more tentacles, though, because I think the Citizen Review Board for the police department needs to be under the office of the Inspector General, where it's a funded entity that we ain't letting the police investigate themselves.
Let's pause though, just real quickly. Because to your point, yes, the office does not have really what it needs. They have, I think the Inspector General that's hired by the governing board that's over that. I think they have maybe 2 or 3 investigators and a few other staff. So we're talking about probably a staff less than 10.
Right.
So yes, when you talk about like what they could be doing and how much more they could be looking into, yes. So yes, you can continue on with your tentacles, but there's no way right now that the review board that's over could even be there's just not enough resources and resources to that office.
Right. So let's say we gave them $3 million a year. We can get some stuff done, and we can get some things in place to keep things from happening in the city, in the police department, and in government. Do you think that's a fair amount of money for a budget?
To be honest, it sounds good. The reason I'm not saying yes. No, the reason I'm not saying yes is because
the oversight committee would be the working family party.
No, I'm not touching that. The reason why I'm like, I don't know, it's because I'm just gonna be honest. Number one, I went to law school and numbers are not my thing.
Why do y'all do that?
No,
everybody I know that got a law degree. That math thing.
That math be tripping me up. I'm just being completely honest.
Y'all can take no math with the LSAT.
No, LSAT don't have no math. Law school don't have no math. The only math I had to do in law school was like determining percentages for like awards and like in torts and stuff. And if torts, that's your slip and fall stuff.
Right.
But seriously, I don't do math well. But also the other reason I'm saying I don't know is because I don't know what their current budget is.
Okay.
And so I do think numbers, when we talk numbers though, even if they don't always click in my head, we do have to have context for those numbers. Okay. And because I'm not at this moment, I would have to look up, I don't know their current budget.
Right.
And obviously I have an idea of what the entire Atlanta budget is, but I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. That's why I can't say yes, right? Because $3 million, if the budget is only $1, could probably go a long way, right? But if the budget is already, it might not be as impactful, and the number might be too low. So I don't know, right? So I'm
added $3 more million,
right? But I will agree with you that adding more resources, period, should lead to better outcomes. I just don't know what that number should be.
What is the problem with this office, and what is the dispute with the general? The inspector general. Okay,
so I feel like there's two different things happening, right?
I need to know what it is.
So there is the what was that? End of the year, early, that time off, between Christmas and before things kind of start really getting going again.
Right.
Around the same time, some of the issues were going on with the policing alternatives diversion. Some more legislation was dropped to change what the office could actually do. And like one of those changes was to like take out that they can actually look into corruption. One of the very cornerstones of why the office was created, right? And so
who wanted to do that though?
Well, it was the original legislation was there were 7 council members on it. So a good chunk of the council.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me turn the music off.
Yeah.
Do we know who the 7 was?
Yeah, we know who the 7 were.
Who were the 7?
So I think the primary was Howard Shook.
All right, Shook.
And so then I believe you had Howard Shook, Mary Norwood. I know you had Liliana Bakhtiari. You had
Norwood.
I believe you had Boone, Bond, Overstreet.
Boone.
I would have to double check, but I think that's it.
Overstreet.
Bakhtiari, Shook, Norwood. I think that's the 7. I would need to pull up the legislation to confirm.
No, I got 5 on here.
Okay, read them out again.
I got Bakhtiari.
Shook, Norwood, Boone, Bond, Overstreet. That's 6. I don't know who I'm missing.
Yeah, you missed somebody.
I'm missing someone.
You missed somebody.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Okay, that's a horrible number.
Yeah, so it was 7
out of the 16.
Correct. So
let's just take the corruption out.
Well, among other things, right? So it wasn't just taking out corruption; it was kind of changing what the office could actually do, right?
Okay.
And the sort of reasoning for this, and my understanding is that it was, and this is also to an extent, the mayor's office is, working with them and behind this and pushing this, right?
Right. So the mayor's pushing them to take out corruption.
Yes, and so my overall understanding is they were saying that the office was so when we talk about OIG, that's the office.
Right.
When I say the Inspector General, that's the person.
Right, and she is
Shannon Mangold.
Shannon Mangold.
And so it was saying that the Inspector General was perhaps abusing their powers, right? And there was this information that was continually perpetrated saying that she was like going into people's homes and taking their personal property and like raiding their home. And that was like what was used as one of the examples of her overreaching her power. She has said that is not what happened. She did say that there was some sort of interview or something, or reaching out to a person at their home, but they were an employee that worked from home and it was during work hours. Right? So I do think there's nuance to this and there's stuff that's reasonable.
No, it's an exaggeration.
It is, yeah.
Because I don't see, listen, you're an officer of the Inspector General. You're not the police now.
Correct.
You're just a lawyer with special powers, like a special prosecutor.
Right, special powers that are given to her by the charter from the city, that the city council and stuff approve. Right. So everything she does is through the charter.
It's through the charter, but it doesn't give her arrest powers.
Correct. It does not give her arrest powers.
Right. She can go and file a warrant and let those that law enforcement.
Yeah, and she can turn it over to the DA or
for somebody to say she came in and came through search warrant, that's kind of.
What she does have is subpoena power.
That's it. But she don't have power to come in to your house. So that was an exaggeration.
It was an exaggeration that continued to be perpetrated.
Right.
And that kind of kept blowing up. Right. And then it was like it snowballed, right?
Right.
And then the other thing that happened is there is a Georgia law that says if you subpoena financial records, you have to notify the person that you're subpoenaing that they're subpoenaing the records of, right?
Right.
That was a Georgia law. However, in the charter, as required, she was not required to give notice, right? Mm-hmm. And just even me being a lawyer completely independent of this, you come in, this is your job, you follow the charter, the assumption is that the charter that governs your office and everything is in line with all state laws, right? And so what happened was the city put out in a press release saying that she violated the law over 50 times. And so instead of like the city coming and being like, hey, we messed up here. We did not put this notification requirement in what you're governed by. Let's work together to fix this. Instead of doing that, the city put out a press release.
Right, that's $30.
To make her look
like she was
doing something wrong intentionally, right?
Right.
Like
she had a problem with her integrity.
Correct.
Right.
And so, because one of the other things the city had been trying to do through this legislation was to also add notice requirements to people that are under investigation. But we all know if you have to be alerted that you're under investigation, you're probably either going to stop, you're going to get rid of stuff, you're going to like...
Yeah, let me stop doing this. I'm being investigated.
Right? So it like defeats the purpose. And so like all the things that the city was trying to change are out of line with what nationally recognized best policies for Inspector General's offices are, right? So again, remember at the beginning I said it's a very specific thing when they chose an Office of Inspector General and not another form or way to have a watchdog, right? So in doing so, they chose a pathway that has like national standards and best practices, and people get certified by the Association of Inspector Generals on the national level. I think it's like national and might be actually like worldwide, right? When you look at it is not just like, so it was a very specific choice for them to choose that. And if that's not the type of office that they wanted, then that's not what they should have put in place, right? And so these changes that they are now trying to make to the office, it essentially strips it of its independence, its integrity, frankly, everything that makes it what it would be.
All right, so this office has only been around for 4 years.
Correct.
Right. Why now?
To me,
I want you to hold that. I gotta take this break. When we come back, I want you to help us understand What's the pushback? Why is there this antagonistic relationship with the city versus this office? If we doing everything we supposed to be honest and dot our I's and cross our T's, we ain't got nothing to hide, we ain't throwing no rocks and hiding our hand, then we don't give a damn who looking over our show.
I mean, you said it right there. I ain't got to say nothing else.
Right, but let's just talk about it on the other side of it. I'm in here with the princess. She's starting this mess today. I need y'all to just do me a favor. Keep it locked and listening to the MIXX106radio.com.